And welcome to OurTime. Later in the show, we're going to meet three of the men from the hit show Men Who Dance for the Adelaide Fringe. But first, we go to the movies, we see the film, we remember the story, we know some of the actors, maybe we don't. We go home, we forget all about it. We don't even think how much work went into making the film in the first place. Where did the money come from? Where did the actors come from? Matthew Wilkinson, where did you come from? Because you're the director of a new film, but you're not just the director, you're the producer, writer, dog's body, prop master. First of all, introduce everybody else.
Sure. Well, this is lovely Gemma.
Hi, Gemma.
Hello.
And this is Ian.
Ian.
And William over here.
Hello.
William with an N.
Yeah, and so these are the lovely cast of
well, there's some of the cast because there's a couple of extra people.
Yes.
Now, I've seen the film, but I won't give any spoilers away, I promise you. But let's just talk about how did this film actually happen?
Well, I've been making independent films for about 15 years.
And which everybody calls indie films, but they're not made in America in Indianapolis.
No, that's it. And basically, I think it was an accumulation of just horror stories on film sets, because there's a lot of film sets that just go belly up, and you do a lot of work and it never sees the light of day, and it's kind of that, it's not regulated when it's an indie film. A lot of the time you're cutting corners. And
well, it's about money, isn't it?
Well, that's it.
Because where does the money come from?
Of course, and if it's coming out of your own pocket, you've got to find a way to get something done.
And that's what I meant in the opening. People don't realise films really cost a great deal of money. You made this film for
$12,000,
which is very cheap.
Very cheap, yes.
Very
yes,
cheap.
Yeah.
Gemma, how did you find your way into the film?
I found the audition on Facebook. I was in a audition group on Facebook, and I saw the listing.
Right.
And I decided, I was like, I'm just going to give it a shot,
And actually, that's the precedent of the film, isn't it? That's actually the story of the film.
Yeah, exactly.
And you played the, I suppose, producer, director, and lead character, sort of, in the film, although it's an ensemble film, which is important to say.
Yeah.
Mostly shot in the one place.
Yeah, well, that was it. That was going to be the way to cut down the budget.
Sure.
Let's do it.
Well, there's other shots in it, but
there is, yes.
Predominantly,
it's predominantly one location.
But you're not the nicest film producer in the world, really.
No, I'm pretty horrible. Yeah, I definitely don't play a great human being.
We can probably let a bit of the story out of the bag.
For sure.
So you've organised people to actually come to your home to audition, which is something that actually doesn't really happen in the real world. And if you were going to audition for a film and they said, come to my house...
Well, I've auditioned at homes before.
And were you filmed while changing your shirt in the bathroom?
Not that I'm aware of.
There you go. I've just let a little bit more story out of the bag there. So the story really revolves around your character. Did you find that difficult?
I definitely found big elements of my character challenging.
Because you're not really like that.
I wouldn't describe myself anywhere close to the character that I played, no.
And William, you come in for an audition because the film is called...
Audition Take 13.
And you're number 12.
12, yeah. I play a young, ambitious, and quite selfish aspiring actor who's messed up, like massively messed up in the past, and he gets caught up in these situations.
But we don't know that in the film, initially.
We have to watch the movie.
Quite.
But, yeah, so I don't want to disclose much, but it's quite an interesting story, so...
Well, getting back to the type of film that it is, it's not a love story, and it's not a comedy, although there are amusing elements in it. How would you all describe it? Just a description, if you can, because it's multi-layered. How would you describe it as the producer-director?
I would call it a dark morality tale.
What would you call it?
A suspenseful, dramatic thriller.
What would you call it?
Yeah, for me it starts sort of drama, moving to thriller, finishing horror-esque. Yeah.
For me, it's a fairy tale because I love. No, I would just simplify it, call it just a horror movie, but quite more complex than that. There's
It
a
is
bit of like
quite complex, yeah.
psychological like things as well. It's but a horror film, so I don't want to disclose much.
Well, in a way, I guess when you go to the movies, you need to sort of have some concept of what it is you're going to see. You know, do I take a thing of popcorn in with me? Do I take a bag of tissues? What do I take with me? Because I want to enjoy the film completely, or cry my way through it, or do a lot of that. And there is a bit of that towards the end. Where did the story come from, though, the actual level, I suppose the playing level of the film, where did that come from? Was that an experience that you'd heard about?
I accumulated a lot of stories that other cast members, crew members had told me. And
From auditions?
Just from film sets where things go horribly wrong. And particularly, actresses in particular will come forward and say, that was weird. Like, sometimes you're asking someone to do a little bit too much. There is a fine line there, and I think it's...
Well, the Me Too movement, of course, has changed everyone, and to a degree, there's sort of the Me Too movement sort of feel about the girls involved. So there's 2 girls in the film and 2 guys in the film and a couple of incidental characters that we see in backstories. Mm-hmm. Okay, so whose house did you destroy?
That's my house we destroyed.
Okay. So is it okay to say there's a little bit of blood and gore towards the end of the film?
Yeah, absolutely. There is kind of an irony to the movie too. Ian's character is pitching his idea and what he believes that the world wants to see.
Yep.
And so really by the end of the movie you get exactly what he was
Well, I'm not sure
setting up.
that it's what the world wants to see.
No.
I think it's more about what he wants to see.
That's it, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That leaves a lot of questions unanswered. We'll come back and answer some of those after this break. Welcome back. We're talking to the cast from the film that's about to be released. I think you're releasing it as a download.
Yeah, it'll be on streaming services.
On a streaming service.
Yeah.
The film is called Audition Tape
13.
13.
Mm-hmm.
Now, everybody here apart from you, is an actor. Have you acted in your own films? It seems to be the thing, just have a walk through.
Of course, at times you have to put yourself in the film just to get it done.
Couldn't afford another actor.
Couldn't afford another actor,
Yes,
that's it.
someone turned up late.
That's it.
Tough. But everybody is very serious about the filming, and obviously you do more than one take with certain things, and they discovered you're a giggler.
Yes. Yeah.
There's
Just a little one.
There's a great line in the film where she says to you, and you then break up. You're not that good an actress, I think it was.
Oh, it was like, 2 a.m. at night? And it was just, I think we were just so tired.
And you went right off.
Yeah,
And we're going to show you some of the outtakes from the film right now.
Oh, no.
We've had a busy night.
Busy night.
Busy night. Busy night.
Busy night.
Busy night. Okay,
363.
let's go.
Involved.
How exciting. Oh, what are you
That's okay, that's all right.
I don't know what you're talking about. You're not that good of an actress. Sorry.
Take 500.
It's just when you see a dramatic piece and then you see at the end of the film those outtakes, you sort of think back, I believed that all was happening in the film, and no, it wasn't at all. You're real people at the end of the day. So how did you start your career as a filmmaker?
Oh, I went to film school, and then you're just trying to get on to whatever you can get onto, really, more than anything. But I found myself moving around a lot, and at the end of the day, you just want to tell your own stories too. So
Yes. When did it click for you? When did your brain say, no, I'm not going to follow somebody else, I'm going to take the lead?
I think it was just you want to write something and you want to get it out there. You want to paint with the brush at the end of the day, and
I get that.
And I think that's the thing. It's with independent filmmaking for me. It's not so much that you want to be always forking out your own money to make the next one. You're hoping that it's like a resume, and someone goes, well, look what they did with nothing. imagine if they could work with something.
If you had some money.
Exactly.
So you invested from your previous films from streaming services, was it?
Yeah, this film was funded basically from the revenue that the other films made on streaming.
So basically, you're just building on building.
You're just building on building at the moment. That's it.
From an actor's point of view, what did this mean to you to be in a film of this type?
Well, it's my first feature film. I've done like a few short films here and there, but for me, it was just a way to see the process of how a feature film is created. When you do a short film, a lot of the time it only takes like a couple days. So when you film something for 2 weeks, a week, it's an entirely different process. And because we shot it in sequence as well, you know that...
Sort of like doing a stage play, so if you remember what you did before, which is hard when you're shooting out of sequence.
Exactly.
So you've got to remember, what was I doing in that scene? And the continuity is always difficult. But you started the film as real naive. You didn't end up that way.
No.
Was that a hard process to go through those different changes?
It was. It was quite difficult, but I think when you're really in it, that's when you completely understand your character and how far that they've come from the start of the film to the end of the film. It then makes it somewhat easier because you have to really put your mind into the character and really think like, okay, how is she going to feel in this scene? Like, oh, is she going to be scared? Is she going to be like, no, I need to get out of here? Absolutely. It just depends on what scene and the scenario that you're in at that time. Yeah.
I noticed you're having a quick drink because you're the next one. Who did you base the character on? Somebody that you'd worked with before?
I certainly drew elements from people that I'd worked with and sort of fictitious characters as well. I mean, being quite, I guess, slimy, creepy.
Well, you didn't really start that slimy and creepy, but it came out.
Yeah, finds a way.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But have you made a lot of short films before?
I'd made a few short films.
This was your first feature?
I was involved in another feature, but not in such a significant way. So, this was...
So, William, you came from Brazil.
Correct.
And you didn't speak English up until how long ago?
3 years, maybe 3.5 years. And that's quite the reason why I got into acting. It was a way I found to improve my language, the English language, to get used to it, and in a fun way.
Because your original language is
Portuguese, which is slightly different from English. So it was a bit of a challenge, but really rewarding. I'd say.
You had an unusual introduction to English because you really fixed your mind on that completely. In a very short time, they then asked you, would you teach?
Oh, yes, back in Brazil. Because when I decided to learn English, I decided to quit my job and take like six months just to lock myself up in my room and study English 6 months straight, like from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And well, I hope it worked. I don't know.
Well, yes, but finding someone like William to play that role, was that difficult?
It was very difficult to find someone to take on the role that he played because you're asking, his character is almost sort of saying, I'm the pretty boy, and well, yes, but
no, but surprised.
But it was hard to find. Like it was again, it was a character that is not necessarily the nicest person on the planet.
But it doesn't start like that.
It doesn't start like that, but it's one of those characters that a lot of people... I mean, I gave them all the script straight away and said, you better read this and be happy with the content before you are happy to come on set. And they all did. They all they could see the irony, or they could see the importance of what it was trying to say.
Well, seriously, congratulations on the film. I think any independent film that's made, you really are taking your life and your savings in your hand, and you hope that somebody's going to like it as much as you hope they will.
That's it. You can only put it out there and see it's up to the world at the end of the day.
Absolutely. So it'll be on streaming services. The film is called
Audition Take 13.
And you're 13.
I'm 13. Yeah.
And you're 12. And the actor who isn't here,
Ella, who is playing the character of 11.
Right. So we see all the action basically happening as if it's in real time over... How long is the film?
It's 88 minutes.
Okay, so the best way to find the film and to where to find the film, is it to Google just the name?
It'll be streaming on Google Play in the next few months,
Mm-hmm.
but it's actually getting a bigger release in the US on more platforms over there. But in Australia,
Brilliant.
Google Play in the next.
Well,
few
hopefully in next film you have 24,000 and then 48,000 and then so on, so on.
That's
Keep
it.
doubling it.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you all. It was a very
you.
interesting preview to sit through because I had no idea what I was going to see. And we're going to be back in a moment with three of the men from the hit show Men Who Dance. And welcome back. The big hit show in last year's Fringe was a show called Men Who Dance, which is exactly what it was. Have a look at this. As you can see, they're men and they dance, and there's three of them with us. One you've seen before, William.
Yes.
Not only a movie actor, but a dancer as well. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be
Charlie,
here.
Hello.
and new person in the show, Bailey.
Yep.
Okay, guys, so the show is not the same as the show last year. It's been extended. You won a Fringe Award last year, I believe.
Yes,
Charlie,
yes.
what's that meant to the show?
I think it's added a bit of excitement to the show. Now that we know we've sort of won this award, so I guess it's sort of, we've really got to push the show, I guess, to the next level because we have won an award.
So you've extended the show to a lot. It
so,
was an hour before.
Yeah, it was sort of, just shy of an hour last time, and now it's an hour and a half.
Right. 2 hours with an intermission.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah, if
Yeah.
you've added the intermission, but you're not really performing then, are you?
But for you, you came from a non-dance background and
Oh,
have
yeah.
become a dancer in, it's almost 3 years now since you started with the show.
Yes, correct. But I know it's not easy like to learn how to dance like by doing a show, but I've been extremely lucky for like this family here. These guys have been like so patient to teach me, actually teach me how to dance. And yeah, it's been a great experience. So it made me grow as a person and as a professional as well. So I'm really satisfied.
And Bailey,
with the
you're the
results.
new kid on the block, so to
Yes,
speak.
I am.
So what's it meant to you to come into a show like this?
Well, it's been fantastic, really. I've grown up since I was 8 with a lot of female dance influences
Girls.
in my life. Yes, they're all amazing.
A lot of girls around you the whole time?
Yes,
Were
absolutely.
you the only boy in the class?
For quite a long time, around 6 or 7 years, I was the only boy. So coming in with this group of brothers, as I like to call them now, has really pushed me to try to be my best and learn new things. And yeah, they're, as I said, quite literally, they feel like brothers to me now, and it's a really comfortable space to be in to dance.
Well, we've got some shots taken at a rehearsal of stuff happening in the show. So we'll have a look at those. But Charlie, you have a sort of similar background being with, these are all the boys in the show, by the way. There's 6 this time.
Yes, with an added one, yeah. Similar background. I'm a dancer, grew up, and was dancing for pretty much my whole life since I was 7. Doing this show is great because, as Bailey said before, as you're growing up, especially in a smaller city like Adelaide, you're usually the only boy in the class,
Yeah.
and you're surrounded by females, which is not a bad thing. It's pretty good. Because
I think when you were a kid, you wanted to learn to dance so you could lift girls.
Yes,
And
exactly.
your option to dance, because you were in the Barossa Valley then, was only Irish dancing, and you don't lift girls in Irish
so I had to go
dancing.
to a different dance school.
And
then
he ended
I-
up
yeah.
with a group of like 6 guys. Wow.
Yeah, now he has to lift guys.
Oh, and he gets to lift you in one dance.
I'm now the girl.
Yeah,
I'm the new girl.
being lifted, yeah.
I don't think so. So how would you describe the show to somebody?
A whole conglomeration, is the word? Of like different dance styles.
Well,
Singing,
your background was really a classical
performing.
dancer.
Yeah,
And I think you two tap in the show.
Yes.
we do, yeah.
An old-fashioned routine.
Yeah, a nice
What else
piece.
is in the show?
There's flipping, there's a hoverboard, there's singing, there's
Hip hop.
yeah, there's like a
few
Broadway jazzy sort of
Yeah.
piece.
Bollywood.
Bollywood,
yeah.
yeah. There's a lot.
And there's a nice shot of you, Bailey, looking very poised, posed. It's not a strip show, though, is it? It's not a male strip show.
No, so a lot of people have thought that because of the Magic Mike whole movement with that.
It's tasteful.
Yeah, it's literally men who dance. And
But it's a
bit of
different
singing,
take
but-
on. It's a different take on men. I guess you don't wear a lot.
Well, yeah, we wear enough. There are some, as you saw,
Except I
Bailey
believe
just
you,
before.
William. Oh, there's a great shot. This is what in the show?
It's a Bollywood piece there.
Yeah.
With an authentic
Find the
Indian
one.
in it.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So the other guys in the show, just drop some names.
So we got Ricky, Daruva, and then
Daruva's from India.
Yes.
Where's
Daruva's,
Ricky from?
Ricky is he from the Philippines originally? Is that
Yeah, Philippines. Yeah, he's got a Philippines background.
Yeah.
And
And then we got Callan as well, who is he's American, I think.
Yeah, from
American
the US.
background.
Yeah,
but
mostly,
originally
Right.
Indian American. Is that
Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone's sort of come together. You've had a format from 2 previous years.
Yep.
How did you extend the show? What's new in the show?
So we've got the original pieces, but because we have an added member, we had to add new pieces. A lot of it was
This is one of yours, Bailey.
Yeah.
Yes.
New laser piece.
It's a bit
Laser hip hop.
spectacular.
Yeah. Good old lights.
So creating new pieces is a bit of a headache sometimes because you are having to create a completely new thing.
Yes.
And you have to get inspiration from something.
Possibly a new skill as well.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. That skill that you may have had from years past, which has definitely happened to me when I first started the show.
So hang on, this doesn't look like a dance routine.
Ooh. Oh yeah, because I wasn't contributing that much to the show, and they taught me some good manners, I'd say. Yeah. Well,
No, so
the
there's
price you pay.
So what's this in the show?
It's one of our numbers, and
it's a boxing piece, which is a
Is
bit
it
different.
serious?
No.
Okay.
It's partial serious. There's a bit of it sort of goes from being serious into more of a comedy because it's
Right.
a huge guy versus a smaller guy,
Right.
and you can sort of
Surprising ending.
you can see there that the smaller guy beats the big guy. So
So for somebody who doesn't know about this or hasn't been to see a show like this, is this a show for everyone or is it just for an adult
it's family friendly. Slightly. I wouldn't say it's totally family friendly, but it is like
Well,
I'm sure
of
kids
course.
it'd be fine for kids to come watch it.
Well, it is. It is. Yeah.
And I would imagine
the
great,
worst
great
is
for
sort
boys
of
to come and watch as well,
bare chest.
particularly if they, have an interest in dance or
Yeah.
performing
Yeah, yeah.
because you're all men and you're all doing
Yeah.
basically everything in the show.
And we've also had a lot of aspiring male dancers actually come up after the show and say, "Oh, like I haven't seen this before. Haven't seen within Adelaide that is. There's many.
It's a bit
shows,
of a new
but
concept overall, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Slightly different to I guess a lot of other shows. It's all men, and it's not a strip show, which is different.
So it's legitimate dance.
Yeah.
So what do you do in the show? Do you do? Is it
I
solos? Is it group
Yeah,
stuff?
I do solos, I do some group stuff, I tap, I do ballet. There's a shot, of a new piece that I do.
Looking good, by the way.
Good shape.
I do, a lot of variety. It's not just
Right.
the one thing.
So
Yeah.
from a dancer's point of view, is it challenging for you all, Bailey? Has that been challenging for you?
Yes, it absolutely has been challenging for me. I came from quite a big hip hop and contemporary background, and with Charlie here, been learning a lot more about ballet and tap than I ever have before.
Right.
It's been a large challenge for me trying to figure.
Well, there's
those
been a
out.
lot of other shows like the tap dance shows with the tap dogs, and there's been some other sort of contemporary male dance shows, but they've more or less stayed within the same genre, but you haven't. You've
No, we've
diversified.
doing all different types, which is again a bit different because usually, even with the Magic Mike shows, they're all the one sort of style of dance, which is like a commercial hip hop. We do a big variety.
Everything.
Yeah. Sort
Well,
of
look, guys, great success with the show. So your opening night is on the 1st of March, I believe?
So
You've got a preview before
We
that,
have
though.
a preview on the 23rd. So yeah,
And
just
then
sort
what
of-
happens afterwards? Like you prepare all of this for the Fringe.
So yeah, we'll be having the show
For
during
a
the Fringe,
couple
and
of
then
weeks.
we're actually doing a country tour to I think it's 4 different venues.
And you've been sponsored by the Fringe to do
We
that
have
as
been,
well.
yeah, which is really great of the Fringe to do that. Sort of helped us sort of make the decision that we're actually going to do it. So yeah,
No, fantastic. So it's a
Should be
bunch
great.
of guys who basically, because you started off in Sydney, you started off in
young, yeah.
Just right here, Adelaide.
Adelaide, and
Right,
William,
yeah.
you're from Brazil,
Yeah, from Brazil.
and
yeah.
Daruva's from India,
India,
and Ricky's
Ricky
from
Philippines.
Philippines, and Callan's from the US.
America.
And
yeah.
that means that the only way that you're going to see them is to turn up and see the show. So great success. The show's called Men Who Dance.
you.
It's on for the Adelaide Fringe. It's time for us to say goodbye. Thanks,
Great.
guys, for coming in.
Thank you, Malcolm.
Goodbye to you. Keep yourselves nice till next time we see you on OurTime.